Welcome to Building Birmingham Together, a show about Birmingham's business leaders' successes, failures, and lessons learned to encourage you to remember that dreaming is free, but the hustle is sold separately. I'm your host, Kim Lee, founder and CEO of Forge. Building Birmingham Together is brought to you today by Forge. Forge is Birmingham's first professional co-working space located in the heart of downtown Birmingham at the Pizitz Building. With private offices, open workspace, as well as meeting and event space, Forge is the place where small business owners, entrepreneurs, and remote workers come together, meet new people, and get work done. If you would like to find out more about Forge, you can visit workatforge.com and schedule a tour directly on our website. Today, I have Patrick Visintainer and Spencer Ware, co-founders of REPOWR, with me. REPOWR monetizes the supply chain's underutilized truck and trailers. Simply put, REPOWR is a virtual community that allows for B2B truck and trailer rentals. REPOWR's digital ecosystem connects transportation companies and leasing companies to an asset-sharing equipment rental marketplace. REPOWR's mission statement is to become the world's most efficient online equipment rental solution by digitally connecting transportation companies with readily available trucks and trailers. I am so excited to have them here today because Patrick and Spencer are at the very beginning of their journey with REPOWR. They both have just left their full-time jobs and started the Velocity Accelerator program at Innovation Depot. These guys are young and ambitious. And after listening to this episode, I know that you will have no doubt that these guys will accomplish what they have set out to do. So Patrick and Spencer, thank y'all for being here today.
Yes, Kim, thank you so much for the introduction. We're excited to be here and tell you guys a little bit about our story and our background. So thank you very much.
Well,
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. So I'm excited because that introduction, talking about trucks and trailers, I'm sure that most people have not thought about it. But I love your story. I love what you're doing. So I can't wait for you to tell more people about what you're doing and how you are really going to revolutionize this industry. But first, I would love for you both to just give a little bit of your backstory and how you got to be a startup for trucking companies. And I'm trying to think, this may be the first time that I have interviewed two people on a podcast. So if you'll just, for this first time, just introduce yourself, say your name, and then go into your story.
All right, my name is Patrick Visintainer, and then I'm one of the co-founders of REPOWR, along with my buddy Spencer.
Yeah, I'm Spencer Ware, co-founder of REPOWR and chief operating officer. I graduated Ole Miss and majored in risk management and insurance. So as we are renting out and leasing trucks and trailers, insurance is obviously a big piece. So I kind of bring that expertise to the table among other things.
Yeah, with Spencer's background and my background, we have a combined experience of, just over 14 years in the trucking and logistics space. My background, I've graduated Auburn University in supply chain management, had no earthly clue what I wanted to do for a living, got involved in the trucking industry, worked with some really, really good people and learned a lot about, trucking as a whole and, saw a couple inefficiencies, and that's kind of how REPOWR was born. And, bouncing ideas back and forth between me and Spencer, we decided to let it rip, and we've been, fully doing it, and it's been fun. So excited to kind of tell you the rest of the story.
Yeah. So tell us, I gave a brief introduction, but most people won't know what that means. So tell us what REPOWR does and how y'all came to realize this huge need that is out there.
Well, first off, you did an excellent job of telling exactly what we're doing. I know it's a mouthful, but quite simply put, we're providing an online marketplace for truck and trailer rentals. If you're not familiar with the transportation industry, you obviously see, trucks and trailers all over the roads and interstates every day. But what you might not realize is if those wheels are not turning on equipment, and equipment meaning, semi trucks and trailers over the road type of equipment, the companies who own them are losing money every single day. And, right now at this very moment, there's over 3.7 million trucks that are sitting, losing money, and 10 times that amount of trailers. This equals over, $1 trillion of equipment value that's not being utilized and that's losing money every day. So we saw this to be a huge problem. And when you look at the industry as a whole, 91% of the companies who operate in this $800 billion industry are considered small businesses. So they operate in a fleet of 6 or fewer power units. And so our platform is, designed to help provide new opportunities and new ways that have never existed before to trucking companies. If they have excess equipment, and the economy's down, they can list those out to industry counterparts. So we're providing owned resources to companies and others that are in need of those resources, and just trying to help the overall supply chain continue to roll forward and, keep the economy rolling. So.
Yeah, and if I could supplement just a little bit, as Patrick mentioned, many people don't know, but 91% of this $800 billion industry are small businesses. And so these small businesses don't have the capital, 6 figures to go out and buy a piece of equipment, a truck or a trailer. And so what our platform does is bring available rental equipment nearby to the fingertips of truck drivers everywhere.
Yeah, and so we got started when Repower first was born about 2 years ago. When I was in the trucking industry, one of the biggest headaches I would have is what happens during a breakdown. And there's a lot of, expenses and cost and downtime, and the process was just very inefficient. So we started out as kind of a breakdown service, but through our, year and a half long worth of research and learning more about the industry, there's bigger problems. So the Repower platform is providing asset utilization. We're alleviating extremely high insurance premiums on these owners of equipment. There's a huge driver shortage issue going on in the market. So we're helping out with that. People who don't have the drivers to be able to fill their equipment, and the overall volatility of the freight market. Most trucking companies, their day-to-day business is to move product from point A to point B. But the freight economy is always changing. It's continuously up and down. So our platform kind of, fixes that issue and helps everybody run, like Spencer mentioned, lean operations, and kind of continues the flow of the supply chain.
So what I think would be really helpful for people listening, because I'm guessing most people don't have a deep understanding. I could be wrong. Maybe it's only me, but the average listener may not have a deep understanding. But can you tell us like how it is now if you're, you need to move product through a truck, which is everything, like what that process is now, and then what process you will provide and the huge benefit that will come from that.
Yeah. So for those listening, imagine that you are a small trucking company. You make up 90% of the market, and you have 3 trucks in your fleet, and you're struggling to make payments. You're struggling to keep the doors open. It's expensive business to maintain.
Okay, I'm going to interrupt. How much is that expensive insurance that you're talking about, just to give people an idea?
Yeah, so insurance, it ranges, but trucking companies are paying north of $15,000 a year per truck for insurance. So, and part of our research is, we figured out that at minimum, trucking companies are spending $2,800 a month at the low end per month on, trucks just sitting in their yard.
Just sitting, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry, I interrupted you.
No, you're good. Good. So yeah, just imagine that you own a fleet of a trucking company, and your fleet consists of 3 trucks, and you haul for Walmart. Walmart has, been sending you freight loads for, a few years, and you're getting increased freight loads from them, and you need more equipment in order to make your customer happy. But you can't go out and buy equipment. You can't go out and buy a $150,000 tractor. So the economical thing to do is to go to your leasing company here in town and rent. Now, the problem is right now, the rental market is so tight, and equipment leasing companies don't have trucks and trailers in their inventory to rent out. So it puts these small companies in a bind because they have no way to secure the assets that they need to fulfill their customers' orders. So what Repower does is we tap into an additional rental market with owned equipment resources from other trucking companies. You know, another trucking company down the road may have 10 trucks sitting there. So you can rent one from him. Everybody's happy. Equipment owner's making money on his idle trucks. You're getting the truck you need, and it's an economical solution for everybody.
Yeah, and we're just bringing true visibility and availability of equipment resources to the fingertips of people in need. And because right now there's excess amount of phone calls that are made, paperwork that goes through just to find this available equipment. And our platform's able to pull this equipment, bring it to the fingertips where you can reserve it by the click of a button. So just simplifying the process, and like we mentioned, just providing new ways and opportunities for companies to generate money on their equipment to make up for some of that insurance cost that Spencer mentioned.
Yeah. So if you didn't have Repower, how long would it generally take to find another truck to rent? I mean, or could you if you only knew of the traditional leasing companies?
Great question. So, back in late February, I was looking for 3 trailers for a customer, and I ended up making 26 phone calls over the span of 8 hours. And I found 2 trailers, and I was calling people from Charlotte, North Carolina to Atlanta, Georgia. And so that's what these companies have to go through to find the equipment that they need to fulfill their customers, needs. And so, what Repower is aiming to do is to eliminate those phone calls, that wasted time, bring equipment visibility to your fingertips and get you back on the road making money, which is what you're set out to do.
Right. Well, so changing gears a little bit, I am always interested to hear the stories and to know what made y'all, after you discovered the need, figured out a way to solve the need. How long did y'all kind of work on it as a side gig? I don't want to say hustle, but it's more than a hustle, but what are some of the processes that you did from like, okay, this is a great idea. I think we have a solution. What was next for you guys in this journey?
Yeah, if I remember correctly, I think when, Spencer's been kind of my friend that we've always bounced ideas back and forth, and some of them are great, some of them are horrible. And I think we were on the way down to the beach and we were just talking about this idea that, was happening in my everyday, day-to-day business, being on the trucking industry. And we just kept talking about it. And then eventually, probably a month, 2 months, maybe even 6 months later, I just told Spencer, I said, we got to figure out if this is worth and this could stick against the wall. So we went and met with some trucking companies around town, and they were very helpful and they provided advice and opinions on it. But the feedback that we got was really, really good. And so me and Spencer then looked at each other and we said, let's just give it a shot. So we built a prototype website, company name, and then we kind of started going at it very slowly and just kind of picked up the phone one day and we got our first rental done, and that was real revenue. And we were looking at each other like, are we doing what we think we're doing? Is this real? And so we kept doing that, and we picked up a couple others, and then we ended up getting connected with Drew Honeycutt, and he told us about Velocity program, and it was some exciting things they were doing, and it was a really cool ecosystem. Being from Birmingham, we weren't too familiar with the tech scene and everything like that, but we got to meet with Drew and we talked to him about our product and what we were doing. And he said that, you guys should try to get involved with Velocity. And we ended up getting accepted, and it's been an absolute blast. And we've had a lot of fun, learn more about our business, true product market fit. And we're kind of moving away from our current prototype, MVP style model to, our new mobile app and website that we'll have launched here in the next couple of weeks, truly eliminating all the inefficiencies that we were having to do, all the manual work. So we're really excited about that.
So what was how was the process? Because I'm just assuming when you got into Velocity, which we'll talk about in a minute, you had to then, is that when you both decided, okay, we're going to leave our full-time jobs, or was it before then?
It was, we got accepted to Velocity, and then we looked at each other, called each other and said, look, we got some decisions to make. And for us, it's been, we never wanted to have that feeling of looking back and say, what if we had given that a shot when we were 28 years old? And, you know, so that's ultimately what we came down to, is we're going to give it a shot. If it doesn't work out, we'll be right back in the job market, and, we'll have an experience to tell from it. And, luckily it's all been trending in the right direction, and we've been having a blast.
So what was it like y'all got off the phone and said, okay, we're doing this? Was there any, after you hung up, like, oh shoot, what have I done?
Yes, it was very difficult. That was probably a month before we decided to actually, cut ties with our previous employers. And I'll tell you what, that was one of the most difficult things I've ever had to do. But, as soon as I did it, it was, scary. But, Velocity has shown me that, the connections and the progress that we've made, it's all been worth it. And, we're really excited to continue our journey, but it was definitely nerve wracking for sure.
So y'all have mentioned the Velocity program. Can you tell us just a little bit about what this program is?
Yeah, they've first off, they do an unbelievable job with getting you connected. The resources they provide you from, mentors, advisors, people who've built businesses before and can tell you their journey of what worked and what didn't work. And honestly, if you go through this program and you don't utilize all these resources that they give you, then you're just wasting your time, and you should never even have thought about joining, because we've gotten more out of that than anything. And it's really made us look at our business model and the things we're doing. It's not all just about sales and revenue. That will come, but there's a bigger piece to it. And it's figuring out truly what are you solving? And it's helped us really, nail down exactly what we're doing for the industries that we serve. And it's been an experience that I will probably, and I'm sure Spencer will remember forever. And it's, it's been a great time here. It's been a very quick 13 weeks.
Yeah. And just for the listeners' clarification, it's, if you're not familiar with Velocity, it's and the accelerator programs in general, it's a 13-week program to give you a year's worth of progress in your business. And so I can absolutely say with 100% certainty that, we feel like we've had a year's worth of progress in this 13-week program. It's been incredible.
So in going back to Patrick, what you had just said, in this program, have y'all had any moments where trying to discover your product that it was like an aha moment, or man, we were thinking this way, but actually this is really what our customer wants? Or did you feel like you went in and were on track?
To be honest with you, it's funny because it's a lot of building a company is hard work and just digging into it and digging deep and figuring out what works and what doesn't. But it's also been very lucky too. There's a lot of things going on in the trucking industry that has been exciting, and we're actually hitting it at the perfect time. There's, we like to say that the industry is going through a technology revolution, and the one missing piece they're missing is the equipment and the capacity side of things, because truthfully, through our platform and what we found since launching and growing Repower is that those who own the equipment essentially own the market. So we're providing that power to our users every day. So I would say, hard work and luck, but it changes every day. What's exciting about being a part of a startup, we'll have one really good day, one really bad day. And it's just trying to keep your head above water and know what your, truly is the goal at the end of the day, and working towards that and making sure you plan that out each and every week so you know what you're attacking.
Right. So I know that you haven't finished. You have 2 weeks left. And I'm trying. So when is the scheduled demo day?
I believe it's May 4th or 5th. It's
Okay.
so the program ends on the 22nd, and then demo day is the week after.
Okay. Well, I will try to remember to go back in after demo day and link it to these show notes so that if anybody's listening after May 5th, they can then go and see the demo day because it always is really great. But so I know you haven't finished the program yet, but you're getting close to the end. So I'm just wondering if you have any key takeaways from the program, especially from the angle, like you both have been in, working for other companies, and now you've started this startup pretty much in velocity. So what are the things that you've learned and will take away from here now that you'll be leaving and running your own company where you'll have employees?
Yeah, for us, it's just been, the connections, as we keep mentioning, like,
Mhm.
Velocity connects you with anybody and everybody that from multiple different industries, different, industry verticals, and, just really leaning on, just the connections that they put you in front of, whether it be an investor, a prior investor, or, other companies around the depot that are always willing to help. And that's what's so cool about the depot downtown, is that it's full of entrepreneurs and innovators and creators that, have been in our shoes, and they want to help. They're here to help. So, never being afraid to put yourself out there, reach out to somebody for help, and, they're here for you.
Mhm.
Yeah, and just to supplement that, I would say, when you're building a company, one thing that's really important for me and Spencer as we're starting to bring people on and have these conversations about hiring additional employees is like culture is very, very important to us. We think that, Spencer's really good at some things. I'm really, we're different, right? I do some things good. He does some things good. So we're building a culture and we want people to not necessarily think like us, but we want them to become part of our vision. So I think one thing that we want to carry on from this is what culture do we want to create? It's just learning about every aspect of the business that we never really would have gotten a chance to, from accounting to admin work to hiring, HR, marketing, everything, sales. Develop. If we bring on a salesperson, what type of sales function do we want? Compensation plan and commission plan, and it's just trying to figure out what works for our business. It's different for everybody's, and that's been really, really fun. And it's a lot of good discussions between Spencer and I, and asking other people that have been through this and, getting their input as well. But that's probably what has been really, really fun for us, is just trying to figure out what works best for REPOWR as we continue to grow.
Yeah, and just learning how to create that culture, I'm sure, instead of stepping into a culture that's already created. Whether you like that culture or not, it's still already there. So putting the things in place for how you're going to create your own.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Okay, so what are some of the next steps for Repower?
Well, so just last week, we've secured our lead investor.
Which is awesome.
Yes, definitely feels good. We've got some more work to do on that front. Have some calls later this week with some additional investors, which we're excited about. And really with our investment and fundraising efforts, it's been more geared towards strategic, network relationship investment money. So, we really try to align ourselves and have conversations with people who have been in the industry before, looking to reinvest in companies and venture startups and things like that. So that's been our angle that, throughout our fundraising effort. So we have that going on. We've got a mobile app and a new website coming out, I think 1st of May. We have a closed member association that we're rolling out, Repower to. That's a gas distributor network. They haul air products for hospitals and, beverage gases and things like that. So we're excited about that. So just continuing conversations, building the business. We're going to be looking to hire some people, one or two folks here in the next probably 2 months. Pat, anything I left out?
No, I think that's about it. I mean, from fundraising to sales, day-to-day sales, to making sure our software is where it needs to be, and then different segments of our business model from trucking to the gas side. So it's just trying to keep it all afloat and keep going and bring on the right people. And like I mentioned, figuring out that making sure we have the culture in line as we build our business. So it's exciting times, but definitely a lot on our plate right now.
So one of the things that I think is so fascinating about y'all as a co-founding team is that you are very good friends. And, I know that it is very helpful, and a lot of investors look for co-founding teams to have partners. But can you tell us what it has been like to start this company together, and just some practical things that y'all do to make sure that the friendship stays intact through all the highs and lows that can come when you're starting something new?
Yeah, so just real quick. So, I grew up in Memphis, Tennessee, and when I moved to Birmingham, I was 12 years old, and Patrick was the first person I met when I moved here. We've been great friends ever since, and so now, we obviously have a friendship over our business. So it makes things difficult, but we have a really good relationship when it comes to our work relationship and our friendship. And really, it's been one of the most fun things I've ever done in my life, working with my best friend. So it's awesome. I have things that I'm good at. I'm more kind of digging down to the details and, more strategically planning things. And I think Patrick is kind of the visionary. So I kind of help rein him back and, let's think about this before we do that. So, but no, we work really well together, and I think we complement, I complement his weaknesses and vice versa.
Yeah. And one thing that's very important is, with us being such good friends, we could talk about Repower 24/7, 100% of the time we speak, which is very easy to do, but we have to always kind of sit back a little bit and say, we were friends before this.
Mm-hmm.
So we still try to keep that friendship on the weekends and things like that. But it's been fun. I remember the first day I walked in, and, our first true day of Repower, and I saw Spencer sitting there, and I was like, "Joe?" I've never worked with him before. I've only hung out with him and, just messed around. So it's been an experience that, I'm very grateful to be a part of, and we've had a blast, and we're looking forward to continuing the growth of not only our business, but our friendship through the whole process. So.
Well, I hope y'all took a first day of Repower picture.
I don't know that we
Oh,
did.
no. Oh, you'll have to reenact it and take it.
We'll just make a new one today and just act like it was the very first day.
That's right. That's right. Or maybe the first day after velocity, when it's like day zero, back to day zero.
We probably have a few more gray hairs than we did before, but figure it out.
Well, okay. I have a question that I like to ask all of the guests on this podcast. The title of the podcast is Building Birmingham Together. And I love, we're all doing different things for our city, our businesses. And it's easy to forget about everything else that's going on. But I really like to look at the picture, like, what are we all doing to build Birmingham together? So what role do you see that Repower is playing in building Birmingham together? And where do you see are some areas of growth for businesses to really buy into this idea that we are all working to build up Birmingham together?
Absolutely. So, really, when we began this journey, like we mentioned, we didn't realize that there was this whole network and ecosystem downtown of innovators, creators, and startup hustle down here at the depot.
Mm-hmm.
And really, really, really cool. We've been telling everybody about it. Did y'all know there was a startup community downtown and all this stuff? And but really, we want to pioneer and really be pioneers within Birmingham and demonstrate to the rest of the community that, whatever goals and aspirations you have, you're standing in your own way. And so get out of your own way, achieve your goals, go after them. So, we like to think that, we kind of, it was a big step for us to do that. So take a risk while you're young. The group down here at the depot is really wonderful. The businesses around us are supportive, and we're supportive of other businesses. So really just looking to build up that ecosystem downtown and be a part of that. We're really excited.
Yeah, I would agree. I mean, everything, it's a lot of when you're building a business, a lot of people think it's just straight business, but there's a lot of personal growth that goes into it. And, if you're not involved in this community, try to figure out a way to get involved, because you'll meet some unbelievable people that you didn't probably even know that were in Birmingham, and they've done some phenomenal things. So we want to be able to, like Spencer said, be a pioneer for our age and, people who aren't familiar with it, but also we want to continue to stay involved with the community. We want to help with the new programs that Kelly and Drew and all the others have started at Voltage for the, just the idea phase. And we want to help them figure out what struggles they might be going through and where we can help. And just any way at all possible. We just want to continue to stay involved with the community. And it's just keep those relationships tight. So.
Yeah. And additionally, one thing I failed to mention is, startup founders build their companies, and most of them, when they exit, they come back and they continue to reinvest their time, money, and effort into the community around them and the other startups. And so I think that's Patrick and mine's dream, is to, continue to build our company, continue to impact those around us, help others achieve their goals, and really leave a legacy of, you can do this. It's just taking a risk and believing in yourself.
So I know that it's been quite a journey for y'all. So for each of you, I'd love for you to share some of the lessons that you've learned along the way about running and growing an organization that impacts now the decisions that you make or your behavior.
Yeah, I would first start off by saying, you always hear it, but write down your goals, whether they're personal or business related. I think those are so important. It's insane. If you don't know the steps to get there, then that's, you have to understand that too. Not just have the goal, but understand the steps that you have to get there. Mm-hmm. And then from a business standpoint, when me and Spencer first started out, we didn't really have a game plan for the day or the week. We would just kind of go in there and just assume one of us was doing the correct thing at the time. So now it started to go, Friday ends, we start planning for next week. From Monday to Friday, we know exactly what we are doing each and every one of those days, sometimes hour by hour, and knowing what's truly most important. So, scheduling goals and then communicating that back and forth between Spencer and I, other people that we're working with, our customers, of what we're doing, and communication just being very, very important. So those are kind of what I would say. Spence, what do you think?
Yeah, I would say absolutely organization, developing a plan, your goals, your vision, where do you want to be? And really, I think what we struggle with a lot is, we'll chase the elephant in the room, that large deal, and really, we can work on those, but really stay focused, have tunnel vision into what you're doing, to get you to the next step. So, not being distracted by the shiny object type stuff, and really just keeping that tunnel vision on your immediate future, and then where that takes you from there. So I think that's probably my biggest takeaway.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's great. Okay, before we end, I have not warned y'all about this, but I have a few just like rapid fire questions. So you just give me the answer that comes to the top of your head. And
Okay.
I hope I don't put you on the spot too much, but these are things that I love to know, so I'm sure other people will too. So what, Patrick, we'll start with you. Tell me if there's like your top 1 or 2 business related books that have been most impactful for you.
Oh man, Spencer's given me a few of them that I'm supposed to read. I'm not a reader.
Oh,
I'm not a reader, but
I didn't mean to get you in trouble.
John Maxwell, Spencer, what is it? Limitless.
No Limits. It's an
Yeah.
incredible book. It's No Limits by John Maxwell. It's how to blow the limit off your capacity as a human being, and from your personal aspect to spiritual to business. It really changed my life when I read it. And I guess I listen to a lot of podcasts too, and like How I Built This and The School of Greatness and Building Birmingham Together as well.
That was my next question was
Yeah.
was podcast. But Patrick, I think you might have gotten out of the answer for
Oh
books.
yeah.
I appreciate it. I thought I was going to get away with that one, but what Spencer said, ditto.
That's right.
But no, there's a lot of good resources out there. There's one in the specific marketplace that we're kind of building. I think it's called Platform. I can't remember exactly.
That's okay.
Just finish this question for us.
That's right. Okay, so my next question was going to be podcast. If you are a podcast listener that you like to listen to, so yes, we love How I Built This.
Quote of the day, the daily quote of the day by something I listen to every single day on the way into work. Kind of helps your positive mindset get going and think about things differently. How I Built This is I'm a big fan of. Oh shoot.
I've never heard of the daily quote of the day, so that's a new one.
There's another one called Two-Sided Marketplace. We're in the marketplace business, so that's been a good one.
Is this for
That's
both
great.
of us, Kim, or just Patrick?
Yeah, if you've got one more, you go ahead. That's good.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just looking through them now. The Mindset Mentor, Rob Dial, that's great. Gary V's Audio Experience, Business Casual, Morning Brew, Problem Solvers. I listen to probably 20 a month.
Yeah, that's great. Okay, last question that you each have to answer. So tell me, what's your favorite Birmingham restaurant?
Ooh. I'm gonna go with Gianmarco's in Homewood.
Oh my.
That's a popular one.
Anything Mexican, but probably, I guess, Gianmarco's probably.
Yep. Well, now y'all can go to Gianmarco's together and celebrate.
Yeah, that's true.
And maybe by the end of the week, it'll be an even bigger celebration.
Hopefully so.
That's
Hopefully
great.
so.
Well, thank you guys so much for being on Building Birmingham Together. It is going to be so fun to watch your journey. I love that I got to interview y'all at this early stage of your company while you're going through an extremely intense program, and just can't wait to see how it impacts the growth of your business. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
And thank you very much.
One last thing I want to point out is that one of my goals for 2021 was to read 2 books. 2 books. So I'll make sure I get that handled for everybody who's listening.
So that's right. That's right. You can do it. just finish your 2 weeks, and then you'll have a little bit of breathing room to actually read something that you want to read.
I've had a busy 2021 so far.
That's right. Well, I'm so glad that the year has started out great for y'all.
Thank you. And Kim, thank you so much for letting us be a part of this, and look forward to talking more with you later on down the road, and maybe we'll see you in the Forge soon.
That's right. All right. Well, y'all have a great afternoon. Thank you.
Thank you, Kim.